Ruth McCracken and Trissetta Washington, two top-notch career and business strategists, are here to help you defy standards and break boundaries. Join them as they share powerful insights that have already impacted thousands of people and will have a major impact on your career, life balance, and business.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey, Ruth. How are you today?
Hey, welcome, Miss Trissetta. Such a pleasant and a joy to always be in your presence. Look, my day is going really great. It's Friday. I'm excited that it's Friday, actually, to be honest. And as we're here recording live in our community, welcome everybody. Y'all come on in, grab your favorite beverages, go ahead and tag along 2 or 3 of your friends or your peers, because guess what? We're here with Breaking Boundaries, Building Your Table Part 2. We've heard from you. I set out another poll. You all were all up in it. And I love it. I love it. I love that you all are engaging, sharing your thoughts, sharing where you are now. And Breaking Boundaries, we're not so much more on just about your career, but also your balancing of your life, as you heard earlier, and as well as your business. And it's time for you to make a decision, right? It's time for you to make a decision. And I'm ready to let's unfold the bread, right? Like I said, go ahead and grab your drink because we want to introduce to you today on Building Your Table Part 2. And we want you to walk away with a different way of framing yourself on how do you position yourself and owning your table. Number one, and how to position yourself as a top authority so that you can be seen and heard while you're in the workplace. So as for me, I know it came to a point, and this was I want to say about 10 years ago. I want to start with a story where when I made a decision as, wanting to pivot in my career and just wasn't sure on what direction to go into. I thought I was in the right direction after, getting my master's my master's in accounting and finance. And I was in corporate HR. However, I felt that there was a lack or a gap as to where I needed to go next, as to what was my roadmap, what was my area. I was assuming that my manager, or I was assuming that the company that I was working with at the time would create it for me or help me create that craft. But the gap or the identification that I became as a revelation for me was I needed to be able to step up and be able to create that voice, right? And be able to build my table. And that's where this is also stemming off from, and as well as just hearing from you all. And I know I can relate. I see you is where I'm getting at. I see you, and I can definitely relate with your challenges and how to overcome some of those challenges. Yes. So the first opportunity that I want you to be able to take away is I want you to grab a pen and paper because I want you to zoom in and take full intention as to what I'm going to share with you, what myself and Trissetta is wanting to help you, support you with. Number one is in your current company. Let's say you're with an organization that maybe have 200 to 300 employees. Chances are you have an HR team, right? And you may be finding yourself in a pigeonhole in your current position. You may have yet to exercise what avenues can you take place, or what vehicle can you can hop in and see what help can you gather as you're looking to go ahead maybe to accelerate within your current role, or even maybe challenge yourself. Have you taken into consideration in connecting with your HR reps or within your HR managers within your departments? And what ways can you expound on that? Like for me, I just kept getting frustrated or finding myself in a hamster wheel, thinking that I needed to do it on my own per se, and not leveraging, the resources or the teams or even the tools that I may have had access to. I'll relate. Go ahead and comment and let us know that, yes, nodding your heads and letting me know I'm speaking to you, right? How do you expand and, open up that dialogue with perhaps maybe your manager or HR? And what ways can they help support you? Because here's the truth. You won't know what you don't know until you take that action and take that step forward and taking action and being able to utilize some of the team resources that you have within your organization before you start making before you start jumping ship. Can you relate with that? And what can you step onto that as well, Trisetta? What value? Because I know you probably have some stories to share. Because trust me, that can definitely unfold and allow some people to get some conviction.
Yeah, so I want to kind of back up just a little bit and take a moment because we dove right in. So for those of you who don't know who we are, this is your first time watching us, watching the broadcast. I'm Trisetta Anel Washington, CEO of Profitable Productivity, Life Balance Coach, and what I do is partner with coaches, consultants, and thought leaders to help them have it all without sacrificing the things that matter most. And I call it balanced ambition.
Yes.
And one of the things that uh, I really want to highlight here is your HR team, when you're desiring to be promoted, when you're desiring to map out your career, which is what we talked about last week,
Yeah.
your HR department really can be a huge resource for you when you are wanting to position yourself for a promotion because they can tell you, you share with them what the role is that you desire. They can share with you what that job description looks like so that you can take a look at your skill set and see if there's anything that you really need to beef up in order to best position yourself for that promotion.
That's good.
There's been many times when I've had conversations with HR departments and saying like, "Hey, just like getting on their radar so that when opportunities do pop up, they have you in mind to know that yes, Trisetta or whatever, insert your name, right, is really interested in building a career with the company."
Mhm.
And that alone can make a huge difference.
I like that. And that's going to go ahead and stem over to how can you identify the areas of how you want to be a key contributor within your team and as well as within the organization. Have you taken into factor as to logging your accomplishments? So before even maybe having, while you know that, okay, number one, we do have an HR team, in fact, maybe a strong one, a strong HR team. Now you want to go ahead and build your case. What ways can you do that? By now identifying, yes, like I know I'm really great at when it comes to project management. And as a former senior HR tech leader, I've been, HR staff, the chief of staff and the VP of talent management, they would come to me when they know they're looking to roll out one of their performance management tools, or perhaps there's compensation planning for that year. And now you're like, okay, so let me start logging in some of these milestones and how I was able to execute some of these accomplishments. And what ways can I quantify that? By number one, just doing an outline, tracking every accomplishments and what ways you were being a key contributor to your team, and also maybe cross politicking to, or as a cross functional leader, what ways were you being able to contribute to other departments? What other ways were you a key collaborator? Where am I getting at? This will help you to make a strong visibility and also showcasing who you are and what you've been able to accomplish by just even maybe setting up as a calendar, which Trisella is really great at, commanding your calendar, maybe setting reminders, right? What else, Trisella?
Yeah, one of the taking that concept of logging your accomplishments or your contributions to your team, this can be something really simple. You need to do it in the moment, right? Rather than trying to wait until you're wanting to update your resume and trying to remember all the things you accomplished over the course of your time at the organization. Keep a running log throughout the year. And it could be something as simple as a note on your phone, or if you use, I'm productivity queen here, right? So Evernote is one of my favorite places to kind of keep that type of thing so that you can easily go back to it when you're ready to update your resume. And you
Mhm.
not only I love what Ruth said about quantifying it, right? So not just the thing that you did, but the impact that what you did had on your team, your department, or the organization as a whole. So maybe you help to develop a policy and a new policy or a new process, a new procedure within your department that then ended up saving the company, 20% on something that they were doing, or maybe it helped to reduce a timeline. So, like reduce the timeline by 25%, right? Quantify the impact that what you did, that accomplishment had on your organization. Here's a good example. When in my past life, I was the assistant director of outreach for the Florida State University College of Medicine. Now, when I first joined the team, I came in as the executive assistant to the director. Now, that whole story, I was basically starting my career over for like the seventh time, because I've talked about this before. Like, I've never been afraid to start over. So when I moved in, when I got the promotion and shifted into that role, one of the things that I desired to do was take our summer camp that we had and make it profitable, because it was costing the university, or at least our department, it was costing our college money to run the program every year. Whereas this was a highly valuable program, and I knew that it could make us money. And so I went to work to make adjustments to the budget and restructure the way we ran the program, so that we could go from being in the red every year to now being in the black on an annual basis.
I hope this is being like a light bulb moment for many of you all that's coming through, thinking that, you're just going to be on the stand line, or maybe on the bench, anticipating someone to identify your craft and your skill and say, hey, you're next and runner up when it comes to what you've been doing. Sometimes you got to be, well, not sometimes, in many cases, you got to be more proactive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In order for someone to even know you're even there, do the things that maybe, have you even considered doing the things that maybe what your other peers are not wanting to do, but it's an impact, or it's a major problem within your department? If you're good at formulas and spreadsheets and all of that, what ways can you demonstrate that and attack that a skill set, and saying, hey, I wanted to bring this to your attention. What is your thoughts? To maybe your manager or the team lead, or whoever is, or the decision maker within that within that department. Giving yourself the value add, and creating your own stage. Forget the table, creating your own stage as well. Like, hey, obviously I'm being overlooked. Let me figure out a way to where I'm being seen. And
I love that
about it. Right?
Yeah, sometimes we need to shine the light on our own selves.
Sometimes we do. And then oftentimes we're thinking, well, maybe if I continue doing it this way, someone else would be able to see my superstar, be able to see me shine. And not to say that they're not going to be able to see you shine. Your goal is you want to be able to make sure that you're being attentive about it. What is your motion behind the intention? So if you're wanting to be able to craft your way to be more challenging, to strive, to be able to stand out, and also be rewarded for it, you got to do something. You got to shift. You got to do something unique. Absolutely. You got to do something in a way that's captivating your leaders, your peers, to see you as true. Yes. So that brings us to our final topic. Is this resonating with you all? Let us know in the comments how this is supporting you. And for those who may be coming in, and you're wondering, well, who am I? Well, I'm glad you asked. I am Ruth, and as a career strategy partner, HR career professionals and mid-level professionals as well come to us when they see that they're being undervalued or under-recognized, to now wanting to be standing out as a superstar, and also be rewarded in a compensated way that they deserve. And that could be you. And if you're looking for ways to definitely pivot in your current career, or even launch a new career, then you want to be able to just say, Ruth, I want to personally reach out to you. Go ahead and comment below. Comment below, and I'll personally reach out to you and see how we can support you. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and dive into the final topic of today. 3, your strengths and your passions, not what you're really great at. I think that gets very confused a lot, that you might be really great at maybe doing the budgets, doing the credit and debit, but that's something that you incredibly awfully hate. That's not what I'm talking about, right? We're talking about what is it that you have a great qualifying skill in, it's your strengths, but most important, this is where you enjoy the most. This is where you see yourself incite the most. You find your heartbeat skipping a beat because this is your zone. This is your genius zone. So what you want to do now is you want to be able to say, am I in my genius zone 99% of the time in my current role? Get clear on what type of role that fits your genius zone. Is this making sense? You want to be able to highlight what your desires are, and then making sure that it highlights with your personal and your professional growth. Because it might be something where you're thinking, well, is it going to impact my family? Is it going to impact maybe me growing a potential family? Right? So you want to be crystal clear, not just on your career path, on how your genius zone may better serve you. And what else, Trisetta? Because I almost suspect that these are the areas that people shine the light the most on, but not take into full consideration on how would it impact any other parts of their livelihoods or any other events that may be tied to them.
Yeah. So, as a life balance coach, it's really important for me to help my clients to balance the two, right? So you want to be successful in your career. At the same time, you want to be successful in your life. And a lot of people feel like you can't have both, right? That one has to kind of go by the wayside while you focus on another. And I don't believe that to be truth. I think it's both and, it's not either or. And that's what I call balanced ambition. So it's really important for you to get clear on what type of role you want, and not only the type of role you want, but how does that role fit into your skills, strengths, and passions, as well as your desired lifestyle.
Yes.
Because what good is it for you to have this dream job and make all this money, but you are tied to it like a ball and chain? You never get to go on vacation. You never get to see your kids. You never get to spend time with your spouse or your significant other. You barely have time for family and friends. And then all of a sudden you reach a place in your career where, okay, I feel good, like I'm settled, and there's nothing else that I really desire to accomplish. But now, because you didn't have time for the relationships that matter, you're all alone. Right? No one wants to get to the end of life or end of their career life and look around and find themselves alone. And if you don't create that balance early on, then that's what you can find yourself, the position you can find yourself in, which is where I come in, because the women that come to me, they're like, I have all this success, but I don't like my life. I'm exhausted. I'm burned out. I'm overwhelmed. Yes. And so we work on figuring out, how do we take the things that you really love and build a life, build your life, and take the things that you enjoy doing and build that around the life you desire. Because like I said, you absolutely can have both. It's not either or, it's both and.
And I think what's been the challenge for many people that come to both of us here, Trisetta, is, are you asking yourself the right questions?
Mm-hmm.
Are you setting yourself, and identifying, well, what is it that what matters to you the most? Are you setting boundaries? Are you making a clear pathway as to what is that road? What is your navigator looks like when you put in your instructions in there specifically as to how you want to go ahead and go down that road?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
That's really my ethos. And it's interesting, in talking about like really figuring out what your strengths are, your passions are, and all of that to really determine kind of the trajectory of your career. I used to have a free resource. I called it Pinpoint Your Purpose. And I had specific questions that you go through and answer. What are the things that I'm really, really good at? Yeah. What are the things that that I'm passionate about? What's really important to me? So I had all these different, it was 5 different questions that you would ask yourself. And then you would go through and take a look and find the intersectionality between all these things.
Mhm.
And at the core of that intersectionality was the thing that you were put here to do. It was your purpose. Your core purpose is in that intersectionality. And then you might branch off, the various things that you do branch off of that core purpose.
I love that.
As a matter of fact, it's not, I don't have it on my website anymore or anything, but I do still have the document. So if anyone is interested in doing that exercise, just shoot me a DM or comment and I'll come back in and shoot me a DM and I'll just drop the document in your DM.
I love it. I love it. See, that's to me is where you want to start breaking some of the disrupt,
Mm-hmm.
how you're breaking these boundaries is I need to start clarifying certain things that I want. I need to start setting new standards, right? Because maybe you haven't even displayed what those standards are or even articulate in a way where now your confidence is now being convicted
Yeah.
because now you have clear direction as to where you want to go and how to
Yeah.
apply that. Did you have
Yeah, it's the clear direction, right?
Yes.
If you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there?
Oh, yes. And that to me is everybody's, you want to commission that every day. You want to
Yeah.
be able to know when you start your day, however you start your day is how your day is going to definitely evolve. And so if you're starting off your day with super unclarity and you're now finding yourself overwhelmed, full of anxiety, now you want to go ahead and find a way of building that bridge, right? With being crystal clear. And if that's an area that you're looking for to get support on, definitely comment below and say, you all are talking to me. I definitely need to see what is my career path? How do I set those boundaries? How do I then make it to where I'm showcasing myself as this top authority, but still being able to build my table in a way that I'm not disservicing myself? It's a win-win,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
And I think we have some time to even throw in the bonus one. We were
Our bonus tip. Our bonus.
our bonus value. What you think? Because I know we got a few more minutes before we.
Sure. Yeah. We can. I don't have anything after this, so we can.
Okay, so I'm thinking because for those who are like after you're doing, you've already now shed the light on what you're passionate about and what your strengths are. Have you now began a frequently, scheduled conversation with your manager? When do you start having conversations with your manager? Right? And how often do you want to meet with them, considering that you may have a heavy duty type of schedule, but is it that heavy enough where you don't want to carve out maybe 30 minutes of your time, whether it be once a week, every other week, or even once a month? Where are you getting at, Ruth? You want to create a certain pattern and you want to disrupt the current pattern that you're in, because maybe you're needing to meet your manager on a more frequently basis, right? Because now you're seeing yourself kind of at a plateau or under challenging yourself, and you're like, what better way can I seek for a promotion? What better way can I then elevate my conversations with my leaders so then they can now be reminded, you know what, I know who to go to. Ruth is really great at pretty much creating the timelines, knowing what recommendations, because she's been through these paths already when it comes to putting different patches on HR systems. Then they can be remembered or be reminded of your career growth, right? Having these one-on-one. What else?
Yeah. Really, your manager or your immediate supervisor really can be your best ally when you're looking to get promoted. And I realized, I know some people are going to be like, but Tracetta, I don't have the best supervisor, so I don't feel like I can talk to my immediate supervisor about it. That's okay. That's why we started at the offset talking about going to HR. But if you do have a good manager who's very supportive of your career path, your career goals, some of I have 3 really best times for you to have those conversations with them. First, during your regular one-on-one meetings. One of the things that I built into my weekly or bi-weekly meetings with my team was we talked about what was important, what was on my employees' agenda, right? Like, what were the things they needed to talk to me about? Then we got into the things that I needed to talk to them about. And the third thing we went into was what was on their radar from a career perspective. How could I support them in what they were desiring to do in their personal and professional growth? And so we had those regular conversations. That's a really great time for you to begin. Don't wait until you want the promotion. Start having conversations early, sharing what your career goals are and what your expectations for growth are within the organization. Another good time to have that conversation is during your annual review. So, right, you're already talking about all the wonderful things that you do and the wonderful contributions that you have made to the team, department, and organization. So this is a really great time to say, hey, one of my goal for the next year is to seek an opportunity to grow within our organization. This is the type of role I'm looking for. And then the third best time for you to talk about promotion with your supervisor is during budget preparation time, right? Because now they're going through the process of looking at the money and making sure that there's funds available for the things. And if you can get on their mind before budgets are allocated, then they can make the necessary adjustments to the budget to plan to move you into a new role. So those are three really good time frames for you to have that conversation with your manager to position yourself for a promotion. Is there anything else that you can think of to add to that, Ruth?
No, that was definitely spot on. And I'm going to speak on the behalf of the community here because I hear from you all quite a bit. If you don't have this system in place, what do you do to get this incorporated? I think that's a great way and opportunity for you to start having a conversation and communication with your manager. Because if it's just once a year, be proactive and say, hey, I just want to do a touch point, maybe for 15 minutes of your time once a week or every other week. So that way it gives you the opportunity to start planting your seeds. Planting your seeds on where areas you see as an opportunity, and maybe what areas you see as a growth opportunity for you. Like, what ways can you maybe tackle on some more challenges? Like, say, hey, what's on your plate today that's maybe overwhelmed, maybe overstocking, and maybe it has a deadline that you may not see yourself making alone. I'd be happy to be your key contributor to that particular task or responsibility. Are you giving yourself grace to have that voice and having that interaction, not waiting till the annual, even though that's one of the best ways is to bring that up during the annual review. But let's being the farmer and start planting the seeds before that harvest of the annual review. Is this making sense? Yes. I love it. So let's go ahead and kind of bring people home here. Like, let's drive them back all the way home on what we just touched on, right?
Absolutely.
We basically gave you all a nice, great, heavy cheat sheet, right, on how to build your table. We talked about, being able to identify and start connecting with those HR leaders, being able to let them know, hey, this is where I'm at, and this is where I want to go. What resources and what tools may be accessible to me that I may be able to leverage my HR team on. And if maybe you wanted to get an additional certification or see what other ways maybe you could tackle some of those tuition reimbursement, you don't know what you don't know unless you ask. Yes. And then secondly, we talked about what ways you can start beginning to log some of your accomplishments, what you've been able to champion, even if it was mini milestones or mini wins. Those mini wins matter, right? Start logging them, start identifying them, and make a list. That way it makes it so much easeful when I start hearing high performers come to me and say, Ruth, trying to remember what I did yesterday, let alone 5 years ago, even maybe in 2022, can be overwhelming. Yes. Yeah. I trust me, I know, and I can relate. And then the next topic we talked about, we zoomed in on, okay, what are my desires? What is that I'm very passionate about, that I'm really great at, and I qualify really well in because that's what I do on a day-to-day? Or perhaps it's only 10% of my day, but now I want to expand it to making it the majority of my time. And how do I create that as a lifestyle, right? We talked about that. And then finally, we talked about, let's go ahead and disrupt these boundaries that maybe was already there before you, and now having some more clear and keen conversations with your leaders, with your managers. Yeah. This is good stuff. I hope this was resonant. Let us know in the comments that this is something that you definitely see yourself getting more additional support and guidance. And if you're looking for getting some more support, go ahead and comment below and let us know how this is resonating with you. We may even extend it and do a part 3 on building your table. We want to be able to have you walk away with a clear roadmap on what that looks like. And we'd love to hear from you. Awesome sauce. Well, in the meantime, I know you and I know that whatever you're doing now with your hands, yes, and this is a great ancient saying, do it with all of your might, do it with all of your strength, and most importantly, do it with all of your power. Have an amazing day. Stay encouraged, and we look forward to hearing from you all next time. Until next time, talk to you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Join and subscribe with career strategist Ruth McCracken and business strategist Trisetta Washington to the Breaking Boundaries podcast each week. You too can experience the limitless potential of rewriting rules and creating an extraordinary future for yourself.